is Jeff.
Hey! Hello, everyone.
Jeff.
Hiya, mate. And let's bring Jonathan in as well.
Got to bring Jonathan
three
in.
Three on the show tonight. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the pre-match stream for Fulham against Everton. I've got obviously Toffee Dan, and we've got Jonathan, and we're just going to do a little chat to preview the game that we've got coming up against Fulham. So, Jonathan, you're the last one here. So, do you want to do your? You can do your little intro thing.
Yeah, hi guys. Welcome to the channel. Just talking about Everton Fulham. I mean, I'm really buzzing about our last result. Obviously, it could have been. We've lost quite a few on a bounce now, but obviously coming back with a positive spin. There were nice goals. They weren't just fluke sort of things. So we can actually play some nice football, which is good to see. Iwobi played a crucial role in all of. Oh, sorry. Iwobi played a crucial role in all of the goals as well. So obviously he's on fine form. So Calvert-Lewin getting back on the sheet. There's all positive things that are coming in. So hopefully we build this momentum and we use it and capitalise.
Yeah, agreed. Dan?
Yeah, completely agree. It's going to be interesting. What did you think on? We'll probably hit the Lampard interview first of all. What did you think on that? Like injuries, Jeff? Injuries?
Do you know? I spoke about this the other day. I'm banned off Twitter at the minute, so I would have tweeted about it. But this is like. Whether it's by luck or judgment or design, that remains to be seen. But this is like the best we've been for injuries in a long time. We've got like Patterson's back now. Godfrey's back training on the grass, so he won't be long away. We've got like most of our first choice starting 11. They're all fit. I think the only player who's really missing currently is Andros. Townsend, which
why you just mentioned that is that was probably the news that come out today. Andros Townsend is hosting the World Cup as the commentary person with some others.
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't mind that because I mean he's been doing stuff on the TV for a while, so that's that's fair enough. He's probably going to be looking for a career after football, and why not?
I think it's something he's done a long time, isn't it, with Talk Sport? He's got a little link with them, and
he's a good talker as well. And let's be honest about it. Having anyone who's positive about Everton going into the media, I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? It's nice having a few people with Everton links going into the media who will have something positive to say about us instead of the usual giving us down the banks that we've been getting for the last few years. So
did he say? Did he say anything? I just one of these comments now saying, "Sorry, is Mina training again?" Do you know what? They didn't ask him many questions about injuries today, did they? Did you notice that?
No. Yeah, but I think that it's one of those situations
it's something where,
Yeah, well, I think it's one of those situations where when you've got a team that's just won 3-0 and you've got a settled starting 9 or 10 players and a bench that's looking quite strong, I think the need to question like interviews is less important, isn't it? Because we really haven't got many that are concerning. So
I would argue in the past, but especially last season and the beginning of this season, I would say that our injuries has been what's held us back massively. And that's always been a massive problem for us. Whereas now, if you actually look at our team or the team that we played against Newcastle and Palace, it's probably our strongest team that we've ever had because we've not got the injuries. We've got our first signings that have come in from this season and are playing in fine form. So I think we've actually got, our strongest team out. So I guess that question isn't really one to ask, and there's more pressing matters to focus on.
I think you're bang on. One person just said in the comments, everything Everton, we know who you are. Pato is in the squad. Yeah, Patterson is in the squad. That's going to be an interesting thing. We'll probably hit on now is, like, we're going to talk about that, whether he would start or not. That's going to be something we will talk about. So Patterson's in. So we'll just quickly put the interview to bed. Patterson's in the squad from what we know. Holgate's in the squad from what we know. And the rest is as normal, isn't it? Doucouré's back. So the only thing that really probably is Godfrey, which is going to be after the World Cup. So other than that, we know what we've got and everyone's available. So that's what we got from Lampard's interview. So the next thing we'll probably hit now to keep it flowing is Fulham. What do you think? Well, I'll go to you first, Jonathan, then Jeff. Fulham, what do you think?
Well, to be fair, at the start of the season, I thought they were going to be a team where they just bounce up and down. They always do. It seems to be Norwich, Bournemouth, Fulham. Every season, they come up, they go down, they come up, they go down. But actually, they've had a pretty decent start to the season, and they're coming off the back of 2 wins as well. So we're hitting them at the moment where they're actually all right. I think they're in 7th at the moment. But if you look at the table, like, everyone is so close together. If you have a losing week and 2 or 3 teams below you, you could be dropped down in relegation, or you could shoot yourself up to 7th. So I think our next 5 fixtures are going to be some of the most crucial parts of our season. And obviously it starts with Palace and Fulham. So again, it's not going to be easy, but hopefully we can get a good result. Hopefully the players are starting to gel more together, and especially after a win, hopefully we can have a good go at them.
Yeah, I think you're bang on points. Anything to add to that, Jeff? I think he's bang on what he's saying.
Yeah, I think the thing to think about Fulham is that, as Jonathan said, they bounced up and down a bit. They made a big investment a couple of times and got relegated, and they've obviously learned from it. They've got. You can argue about it, but I think he's a good manager, Marco. I think he is a good manager. I think. Maybe the Everton job maybe came a bit too soon for him, in my opinion. I think it was too much for him to handle, and the pressure got to him. And I think that he made mistakes that came from the pressure. He didn't have the shoulders for it, I think, and that's a big lesson that he's learned from it. And he's come back up, and I think he looks like a calmer person. And he's built a team they're not amazing. Let's get it right. They're not amazing. They're okay. They're a functional side. They're kind of well organized. They play fairly well. They've got a good goal scorer. And really, to be a safe mid-table side, that's what you need, is a functional side with someone who can score regular goals. And so I hate to say it, but I kind of see Everton and Fulham as being on the same level at the moment.
I'd have to disagree with you, because
we might be a little bit better in some areas, but go on, why?
I would actually, because if you look at their goals scored and goal conceded, they've actually scored one of the most goals in the whole table. I've just pulled up the table. They've scored 22 goals, but they've also conceded 22. So I would argue that our defense is much more solid, but they know how to put away goals. They are. If you look at their highlights, I watch the highlights of all the games each week, and they're actually seem very fluid. Their positioning is incredible, and they actually have the right men in the right position. So if they send one ball forward, they're through on goal, and that's what we need to be really careful about. And if you also look at their results, they're winning the games against the lower down teams, which we need to do. Yeah. There are too many times Everton will go and get a good result against the top teams. Like, we'll draw to Liverpool and we'll beat Chelsea, we'll beat Arsenal. And then we ended up losing to Bournemouth and Norwich and Fulham and all these teams which we should be beating. Whereas they're the complete opposite. It doesn't matter if you lose. They lost to Arsenal 2-1. That doesn't matter. You're not really expecting to win. But then they go and beat Brentford. They go and beat Brighton. They go and they're beating the teams that like are lower down, and that's why it's much easier for them to push higher up the table, because they have the easy games which they control.
Yeah, but I don't see where you're disagreeing with me.
You said that you think we're on level terms, whereas they're actually.
We are. Yeah, I think we are. I
think our strike force is somewhat.
The way
lacking.
you actually, but I think the way that I'm seeing it is that they're stronger in certain areas, we're stronger in certain areas. On a balance of overall, And if you actually come towards the end, I mean, and it's one of those you can judge a team after 10 games and say, oh well, they've got more points than us, so they're miles ahead of us. But I look at the team as an overall, and I think that we're a well-organised side. It took us a while to figure out how to score goals, but we got all of the other bits of the team quite right. So we're a very solid side. We've got a threat up front. We defend really well. They're probably not quite as good defensively, but they've got the bit going up front.
If I'm honest, I don't see Everton.
So I don't see them. I don't see the big difference between the two of us, I think.
Because I think our defence is at the moment very, very solid, and we could quite comfortably like hold out for some draws. But what frustrates me is when we are losing or we drop one goal, we don't have the attack as strong. I know we just won our last game 3-0 and we played very well, but we need to see consistency with that. We can't have it as a one-off game, because too many times against United and against Spurs, every time we were losing and we went behind, we just dropped back, we were loose with possession, and there was no forward momentum or build-up or aggression in it. That you see individual moments, for example, Gray sprinting down the line, or you see Iwobi, but I don't think as a team we're actually that strong as a whole unit, because we don't play, like, we need to push forward together and know where each other are, whereas I feel like we have individual moments of positive attack, but it takes more than one person to be able to do that. But
then if you look at the last 6 games, and this is why I was making the point, is the last 5 games we've beat the teams that we should beat, and we've probably lost to the teams we should lose against based on things as they are. Now you can ignore the slow start because obviously we didn't have the striker fit, but having Calvert-Lewin back fit now, having Mopé as well, having Iwobi getting assists and goals, having McNeil coming back in, adding to the thing, having Patterson back. And I think if you look at it as an overall thing, yes, the first couple of games, we knew the problems. We didn't have all of the players in, and it took a little while to settle. But I think when you look at it overall, we beat West Ham, we beat Southampton away, and then we lost against 3 top 6 sides.
I'm not saying they're bad results. I just think when you actually look at the games deeper, I'm not too bothered about the result, but it's just how we conducted ourselves during the game. Because if you look at it again with United and with Spurs, if you're losing, there's no real difference between losing 2-0, 3-0. You may as well push forward and try and get yourself back into the game. But we just sat back and we didn't do anything and we didn't try to take control of the game. So what I'm saying is, we have these moments where we can beat the top 6 sides and then we get battered to like the bottom 3 sides. But what I want to see is we have moments of brilliance through our team, and we do have good players. If you look on paper, we're actually a decent side that can perform well, but we just need this consistency to be able to build us through the season, beat the bottom 10 teams, and then go and push on to beat a few of the top few teams. And that's how we can really develop and connect. But we need to build on our momentum, and we need to have consistency through the season to be able to get us where we want to be.
But that's what Lampard said, didn't he, in the interview? It's all right having a good game last game, but you've got to back it up this game. One thing I will say is with the United game and the Spurs game, I felt we sat back and we didn't have the attack tactic. Our tactic was to sit back and try and make the game hard and the counter, and it was pretty boring. And we didn't do as much as I wanted us to do. And I felt like when this game come up, our last game, Crystal Palace, everyone was saying to Lampard, you need to have a shot on target, because we didn't even have a shot on target against Newcastle. And for the first time, and this is what made me a little bit happier, for the first time, I seen us actually have a style of play, a tactic, where we passed the ball. You've probably seen it, Jonathan, the clips where we actually passed it all the way from defence and scored. The goals that we scored was fantastic. And I'm thinking, yes, finally, you've given me something that I want. I want that. If Everton play like that, I'm happy. And it needs to happen this game now. Like, it needs to be the same style, because that was good. I can cope with that. But what was happening the other games, I wasn't happy with. So there's pressure on this game now, because I'm really hoping that I see what I saw last game, because I feel Fulham.
Go on.
back it up. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think. Do the same thing. I think there's pressure that I want us to do what everyone wants to see what we saw last game. It was so good. We all want to see this against Fulham. And I think Fulham are a team that, like you both said, one thing I will say about them is Fulham have got a good attacking team like Crystal Palace that's going to come at you, that will put pressure on you, so your passing's got to be bang on. But Fulham, for me, I don't think their defence is that good, and I don't think the centre midfield is that good. So we're probably better in that area. They're better in the attacking area. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be similar to Crystal Palace.
I think it was a bit of a shock to see the Everton style of play against Palace, because we've come off the back from 2 very disappointing results, and the style of football. It was very boring to watch, and it was just passing around the back, passing across. There was no aggression or passion from anyone to try and win the game or even try and get back level. So to see how we played against Palace, who are pretty much, like, I would say, are a very even team against us, and like level pegging, to see us then dominate them and win that game, that is really something that I like to see, and hopefully we can carry on that momentum against our next 5 fixtures, who are realistically going to help define our season. Because if you look at our next fixtures, so we've got Fulham, then we've got Leicester, who have to be honest, have actually pulled themselves out a bit. They've started to do better, but still are not where they would want to be. And that's at home. Then we've got Bournemouth in the cup, and then Bournemouth in the league, and then Wolves, and then we've got Man City. But it's going to be these bulky games. If we can play how we did against Palace and build a string of momentum and beat all these teams, then we'll be in a really solid position.
Yeah, the way I'm looking at it is, I understand why. People get hung up on individual ups and downs and individual performances. Like, we're not going to play. Everyone wants to see us play like that every single game. And if we don't play like that in this game, everyone's going to be going mad. So, like, how can we do that against Fulham, against Crystal Palace, and then lose against Fulham? And my response to that is, most of these players have only been together since the start of this season. Realistically, if you look at probably more than half our team, either only just arrived or had never played for us before, in the case of Patterson. So we are building something here, and building something takes time, and there isn't going to be the consistency yet that you're looking for, Jonathan, or the same level of performance that, like, we all demand when that Fulham the Newcastle performance was underwhelming. But if you actually look into the result, the Fulham game in particular, a lot of the things on the pitch worked well. Just the final bit didn't work very well. We didn't create the chances, but we did all of the defensive stuff really well. So we're kind of building, and I kind of see a linear progression of compare where we were when Frank arrived to where we are now. We are so much better because we've improved so many little things. And getting Dominic Calvert-Lewin back, McNeil getting a goal, the midfield switch that he made tactically to bring Onana back and push Iwobi forward, that had a little effect. So I think the manager, the players, they're all learning, and they're all trying to work to improve every single week. And so, like, that's what all I'm looking for is progression, because we're not going to go from a team that nearly got relegated to a team challenging for Europe in one window. That's not going to happen. But what we can do is try and be a consistent level of performance where we defend well, we pass in midfield well, we create chances. Over the period of time, we're going to get better and better and better, and then we'll add a few more players and we'll get better and better and better. So I don't think there's pressure on this result at all. I think I want to win it. I think we can win it. I don't see like any kind of gap between us and them in terms of ability overall for the team. So I just think we just go into it with like optimism, But like, let's keep the expectation of Everton down for now and not throw a wobbler every time the result doesn't go our way, because it just isn't going to go that way, you know.
See, I wasn't on the last video, but I was getting so frustrated when people were talking about Lampard and he's got to go. And I think, we can't go through this again. Over the last however many years, since David Moyes, we actually haven't had like a permanent manager who's had any sort of a chance to build a team and get results. Because every single time someone, as soon as things start like not going our way, they get sacked. And then we have to find someone else, go through like a caretaker window, which doesn't help anyone, doesn't help the team, doesn't help the fans, doesn't help the board. And then we just start losing, and then they try and bring in another manager, but then he's not getting the results because things take time and you need a window. So you can't expect results to come straight away. And I think from last season to now, Lampard has come in, he's had a window, and he's actually sorted out a massive defensive issue that we had. Last season, Keane made so many errors. And I know we've covered that before, but I think he's really come in. He's improved the squad massively. So now it's about building the tactics on the training ground. And then hopefully in the January window, again, we can build on our attack. Because I think defensively and in the midfield, we're actually very sound. I think we just need a few more either wingers or a striker, and then maybe some covering in case of injuries. Obviously, we have a good starting team, but we don't want to, if we get injuries, don't go down that rabbit hole again. But we need to give him time. And I think we will be in the mix of getting a very good set of results. Obviously, I wouldn't say there's pressure on us to win. It's not like we're in trouble at the moment, but these are the kind of fixtures that we do need to win in order to build points and keep our season going. Because as I said before, if you look at the table, where it's so close between the bottom and even up to like 9th, 8th, 9th. And if you lose one game and everyone, like a few teams below you, you will drop down the table very quickly. So I think it's important that we beat down the lower teams. Just on a side note, I just got a notification from BBC News saying that an Arsenal player on loan, Pablo Mari, was one of 5 people that got stabbed in Italy during an attack. He's a Monza. He's on loan, I think, at Monza. He was an Arsenal player, and I just got that notification through. So just to let you know, it was in a shopping centre.
Yeah, scary now, isn't it?
Yeah, but not to bring the mood down, but just to let you know.
No, it's fine. No, it's
there was a comment here. I'm trying to put the comments up as well, just to keep people coming on. Like, push them back from the tempo. That wasn't the one, but there's a comment from Mr. Dublin, and there was one just saying about us playing in London. It's not about. I'll read it out because I can remember it in my head anyway, and I would call you out in the comments. But saying it's more about the game being away and us not playing well in London a lot, and that's going to be the hard point of the game that is at Fulham. And like I say, our away record is okay, as Lampard pointed out. It isn't as bad as the people interviewing him made out, but it isn't perfect. Do you know what I mean? And I do feel. I get what you're saying, Jeff, and this is where me and you are always different. You're chilled and you say if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. I think we've got to... From last season, for me, with also what Jonathan said, the game this season, every team is good this season. I'm not going to be relaxed and say we don't need to win this. I generally really think we need to crack on. I would love to win every game now. Well, I feel like we need to pick up some big points now before the World Cup to give us that big boost, because I'm watching everybody now in this league. It's not easy. Like, there's no bad team. At first, I thought, you know what?
No,
Bournemouth ain't that good. And I thought, but they've got better. I felt Forest ain't that good. Forest will get better. I don't think Crystal Palace we beat, luckily. I think when we come up against any team this is how I see it in my head. If we come up against a team that could be at the bottom with us at the end of the season, if we are there, which I don't think we will be, but if we are, say Fulham are there, we've got to act like we need to put you to bed now. So we beat Fulham, we've gained 3 points off them, and that's how I feel when we play Fulham. We need to.
And that's why last season, when we lost those games against the people we were battling against, we had to get our points elsewhere, and that's why it was so close. Because I'm pretty sure we lost against the teams that we were in relegation battles with. We lost against Burnley, and I'm pretty sure we lost to Leeds as well. So, like one game here and there, it might not seem like a big deal now, but later on,
but that's where I think we're doing quite well. You see, so this is what I mean is, yeah, we just went on a 3-game losing streak, but we lost to teams that we were expected to lose against. You know, if you look at the booking odds, you know, Man United, Tottenham, and obviously Newcastle are doing well. They're really good teams. You know, then like 2 of them away from home.
They are, but it's not the result that I'm
tough.
disappointed with.
No,
it's the attitude that we had there. Because
then, like I said, that's not attitude. This is where I get annoyed by it, right? There's an assumption that we played badly because we had a bad attitude or we didn't try.
I didn't mean
that's not true. And this is where I try and push back against a lot of the comments that come across as like we've got some divine right to win games. We just turn up and play and everything's going to go well. And it's not. It's a process that we've gone from being a team that nearly got relegated. We've changed half the team in one window, and we're now trying to build something. And it isn't going to go well every week. And we as fans have to keep faith in what Lampard is doing and remember the fact that this isn't the finished product. This is the start of the journey.
Get that. But I think what everyone
and then the window is coming up in January. We'll have only played 16 or 17 games when the window opens, and we can add more players. So to put pressure on us now, as if this is like, oh, we've got to win this game, one disrespects the opponent. They're 7th in the league. This isn't a game we have to win. It's a game we can win.
It's not that sort of pressure. It's just you. It's not the pressure saying if we lose, it's the end of the world. Every game, like obviously the comment here, Nicky says you can't win every game. I understand you can't win every game, but when a game comes up, I'm going to get myself ready to. I'm going to get myself ready to win the game. I'm going to go into every game wanting to win it, and if we don't, then fair enough. I'll crack on and I'll get ready for the next game, and I'll hope we win that game. You've got to want to win every game, and it's not. You're saying we need to win this game, and if we don't, you're going to kick off. No, I'm not going to kick off. I'll just move on to the next one But I am going to be up for every game and want to win every game because that's how you do well. And that's Lampard's attitude as well, as he says, we've won the last one. Let's get ready for this. And Lampard said, I'm ready for it. Yeah. He said, I'm ready for this game.
Yeah. I think every single Evertonian will agree, and I'm sure all of you will as well. But we are the club that you play for the shirt, and it means the most to all the fans, and you're playing for them. So that has been said countless times. And I think when they're running around passing the ball sideways or passing it backwards, that's just not what we're talking about. We want to see you run forward and commit. And if you lose the ball, so what? You track back and you try and win it back. Or if you're losing 1-0, you don't just sit around and hang about. You actually go forward and you try and put pressure on and change the situation. That's why I was disappointed. Not in the result. Yeah, you lose games. Yeah, it happens. And you move on from it and you face the next one. But it's just the way we went about it. And I'm not saying it was a bad attitude, but someone needs to take a role there and think, okay, well, it doesn't matter if we lose 1-0. It doesn't matter if you lose 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter. But you need to be able to push forward. If you're losing, you may as well go and push forward. And yeah, you might concede one, but you might go and score 2 and you can actually make a difference. So if we're just sitting back against Newcastle, not Newcastle, I don't think we did too much, but against Spurs and United, when we were losing, that was when we needed to go and push forward and actually make a difference. And we didn't do that. And that's why I was disappointed in the result.
Oh, disappointed. Yeah. And like I say, this isn't a case of like I was happy with any of those results because I really wasn't. I felt like when you saw the lineup at Newcastle, I thought we could get something from this game. They're not actually that good with certain players missing. I thought we should have been able to take the game to them. The Tottenham game, we were in that until the Pickford mistake, and the Man United game. Again, it was our mistakes that cost us realistically, and so all of them were annoying. But then you see the Crystal Palace game, and you see the potential of it when it works, when it clicks together, and so like. I'm actually really positive for this. I know it might come across as I'm not, but I'm really positive. I think we've got a chance of beating Fulham because I don't think they're very good. I don't think they're very good. They've got a great striker, but the rest of the team ain't all that. I think we can take the game to them. And I think we'll make it much harder than some of the other teams because our defense is the rock. And like, if we can keep a clean sheet and like play on the counter or whatever and get in front, I think it's a game we can win, definitely.
Got to be on it. 100. I think we can win it 100%, especially from what I saw last game. But we still have got to be on it 100% because I didn't know about them that much, but I didn't know that they've got that Piera, who I think's a really good player. They've also got William, who I knew they've got, and we all know William's a freaking good player. We'd probably have him in our team. I know he's getting on, but he's a good player. That Brazilian William, isn't he? That was at Chelsea. Yeah. And they've got some good attacking players, so we're gonna have our defense are gonna have to be on it. If our defense is on it, they can handle them. Then we need to see what we're seeing against Crystal Palace. And I'm not saying, we need to do that all the time, but I want to see us at least try to do that because I think they'll come on to us. I do think they'll come on to us. If our passing's as good as it was then, we can pass through the lines like we did then. Honestly, truthfully, that game, Crystal Palace, I'm not getting overexcited by it, but it's the first time I have seen a game or us play a game where I was happy. Like, honestly, generally was so happy because I didn't think we had that game. And I don't think, I think Lampard's been trying to get us to play like that and we can't. And he's been trying to get us to play like that and we can't. And we haven't seen it. So as fans, we're like, oh, friggin' hell, what have we got attacking? We can't attack. We don't know how to attack. And then you see that. And even Gordon says Lampard's been trying to get us to play out from the back, I read.
Yeah.
And they've been trying it, but we haven't seen it. And finally it's come off. And I think now it's come off. You need to grab onto that and try it every game now.
That second goal, to me, is like, that's what Lampard's trying to do. That's like the template of what he's trying to do is like from the keeper out, across, back to the keeper, out, through the lines, fast break, across, goal, and then Gordon following up to tap it in. It was like, that was everything you want from a football team, wasn't it? That was like the blueprint for how we can be a successful team. And it feels like it's been coming because you've said on a few times is like when it clicks, we are going to be a good side. And I think having DCL back is huge for us because I know he gets a lot of stick. But with him in the side, we are so much better than we are without him in the side. I don't know if you agree on that.
Yeah, it's all coming together. He's the icing on the cake, isn't he? I think Connor Cody said it in an interview. This is another thing. I'll reel a few things off. Connor Cody said he's amazing to have up front because he said if you come under pressure and you've got Calvert-Lewin up top, you can put the ball into him. And you know you've always got an outlet if you're under pressure. So it's amazing to have a striker like DCL. So it is amazing to have someone like that. It's going to be, like I say, I think Fulham are good, though. That's one thing I will say. They're doing well.
Yeah.
Especially when we're going away and we're playing them at their ground. It's going to be an interesting game. So the next thing that we'll probably talk about now is what do you think the team's going to be?
Yeah, this is the question: does Patterson start? That to me is like a big question, is because
it's a biggie.
The last game, that was, you could argue that's the best Seamus has played in a couple of years. He was absolutely fantastic in that last game. So do you drop him after a performance of that level where he's played at that level? Because he was getting forward and coming back. He was defending well. So do you
comment there
that?
as well, Jeff, on what you're saying? It interlocks with what you're saying. Kevin Kraft said Lampard will stick with the same side. This is something we was going to talk about. Like we'll ask Jonathan what he thinks as well. Jonathan, what do you think? Is it going to be Coleman or is it going to be Patterson?
The thing is, I would love to see. I'd love to see Patterson in. I think he's going to be one of the great replacements that we have for Coleman. Obviously, Coleman's a great player. He's been with us for however long it is now. And he was pennies as well. Yeah, and he was pennies compared to it. But I think Patterson's going to be a great replacement for him. Obviously, so I would love to see Patterson in the side, but coming off such a great last appearance, it's kind of hard to take someone that's contributed so much and take them out the team. So to be honest, at the moment, I'm not too bothered about which one's picked, but I think it would make sense to bring Patterson on later as a fresh pair of legs. But also, I think Coleman is one of our hardest working players, and he could probably run the whole 90 minutes and full sprint if he wanted to. So I would guess start with Coleman. But I also just want to point out just previously that we do need to take into consideration about, and it'll come in with our score predictions later, but Mitrovic, their striker, is actually the third highest goal scorer of the season so far, behind Haaland and Kane. So you say that our defense is very, very solid, which it is, but he's scored 9 goals so far. And I'm pretty sure our highest is Gordon, who I think has 2, or Neil that has 2. So I'm just worried about maybe where the goals are going to come from. Gordon's got 3.
Yeah.
But having said that, also you've got Iwobi, who's I think the second highest on assists with 5. So I mean, it is going to be a very interesting and close game. But I would keep the team very similar, pretty much
keeping
the same.
It the same. Jeff's keeping it the same. Some of the comments are saying keep it. You're putting Patterson in, Jeff. Sorry, go on.
No, because this was the other question I had.
Play Patterson is immense.
Yeah, I'd Patterson. I'm fine. You know, if we bring him in, I'm happy. If Coleman starts, I'm fine with that, and bring Patterson on as a sub. That's no problem. To me, the big question is McNeil over Gray, because I don't really think Demarai Gray has actually been that good recently.
I couldn't disagree more. Go on, finish your points.
He's fast. He's quick. But he hasn't actually. If you analyze the performances, other than running fast, he's not actually contributing to the football that we play. And then immediately you saw McNeil come on for Gray, and he the first thing he did is he skinned someone, run into the box, laid the 1-2 off to Iwobi, back to him and in the net, and it was like, oh yeah, that. So
I would argue though,
the question is, it's a question, you know.
I would argue at the same time that is the first time I've seen Dwight McNeil actually credit something to the team as well, because I think he's actually been very, very lost, like what is it? Like a rabbit in headlights? That's the one. Or a deer in headlights. I feel like he's so lost on the pitch and he doesn't know what he's doing. When he tries to get forward, he'll lose the ball. Whereas I think Gray actually contributes a bit of energy. As you say, he's got a lot of pace, but I also think he just gets people moving with him and around him. And if he can actually nick the ball and get forward, all it takes now that Calvert-Lewin is back is to be in the box. Because I think when Gray was playing before, he'd run forward, and because he's so quick, he'd be the only one up there and he wouldn't have an option to give the ball to. Whereas now you've got Calvert-Lewin on the pitch. And if Calvert-Lewin can get in the right position and Gray can use his electric pace and get forward, all he has to do is one ball into the box and then that's going to be a goal for you. Because Calvert-Lewin's with him now.
But that's the problem is Gray doesn't play the ball. That's my big problem with Gray is.
But I would argue he's had no one up there with him to actually play the ball.
It's an interesting, it's a debate, you know.
Yeah,
I think on my point though, I would say that I think Lampard keeps saying whoever's doing well in training is starting. So obviously, if Gray's starting, he's obviously doing well in training. I don't think it's coming together for Gray, but I think he's probably due a good game. I do think he'll start Gray because he's got the speed, and I think against the opposition will always struggle with speed. I think it's cracking that you've got McNeil that's ready to come on and score goals like he did. You've got a sub that's going to come on sky high, whichever way you play it. I don't know which way. Maybe use Gray's speed first and then bring McNeil's composure on after.
See, that's
when
why
teams
I think
are tired.
Because Demarai Gray as an impact sub with that pace against tired defenses works really well.
I could get that as well, yeah.
And then McNeil,
it's a good headache.
I think that McNeil looked lost when he was playing as an inverted winger on the right. But when you play him on the left, he knows what he's doing. And he's a much better crosser and corner taker and set piece taker than Gray as well. So I think he adds that. And then he gets back and does his defensive work as well. So that's why I think maybe like he might be worth a try. But I'm not going to sort of second guess Frank, or if I'm not going to be like if Gray starts instead of McNeil, I'm not going to be upset. It's just literally I'm just having a debate.
That's the good thing now, though, I think, is that the competition is strong. And I think if Coleman plays, we'll understand it, because Patterson can't be rushed back. Maybe there's got to be a reason. Or Coleman played well last game, so we'd understand it. And the same the other way around. If McNeil started, he's earned his place. He played well last game. If Gray starts, then we understand that Lampard obviously likes Gray quite a lot and he thinks he can do the job. So any sort of thing that he picks, I think
it's actually such a refreshing change to be able to actually have this conversation and be like, oh, who do you want to play this week? This person or this person? As opposed to be like, oh, we've got to play these shite players again because we've either got so many injuries or no one to actually choose from. So it's actually nice to be able to choose.
It was so nice to, on what you're saying, it was so nice to bring on. I know people probably don't like them, but I don't mind them. It was so nice to bring on Decore and all that energy on at the end of last game, like Decore, Davis. We brought on to bring on players like that at the end of the game. It feels good. We've got a big squad now. Like Decore was our best centre midfielder last season.
Yeah,
I feel like
now he's like our sub.
Yeah. Because if you look at the players, I said this before, but Garner Gay, when he played for us as well, he's so good at he's made a few mistakes, which is a bit shaky, but overall he's very good at tracking back, keeping that the block on and crunching players out to not let them through, and that actually allows Onana the freedom to push more forward and be more aggressive. And some of his tackles, it's like running into a brick wall. You just can't get past him, and that as a combination is such a threat. And then again, it allows Iwobi to have more pace and freedom to move about, which again allows him to get the assist that we need. Because before, if he moved forward, it would leave us so open and would be threatened. Whereas now we've actually got those players who are in there ready to be able to block. So as a unit, those three are actually such a good threat for us, and it's playing right into.
I saw a little piece. I don't know if anyone saw it. It was a little interview with, I don't know whether it was like a French paper or whatever, and it was translated, maybe a Belgian one, I don't know. And he was talking about working with Lampard, and he was saying that he stays behind every day, Onana. He stays behind after training to do shooting drills and shooting practice with Lampard, because he's like, Lampard was like his hero growing up or whatever, and that was his game. Scoring goals from midfield was his thing, kind of. And he's like, he's the best person I could possibly have to learn from, and he wants to add goals to his game. And I think that speaks well of the players that we've got, that they've not come here to retire like a lot of players that we've had in the last few years. They've not come here for a wage slip and a retirement home and an easy life. They've come here because they've got ambition and they want to get better and they want to improve. And I think that's a brilliant. I think a brilliant indictment on what Frank's doing, isn't it?
I think that like Lampard would love that as well. I haven't read that, but it's just an interesting story that you just put out. I think Lampard would love that the players look up to him so much, and I can imagine it sounds like a true story as well, because I can imagine Onana loving Lampard. Lampard is what Onana wants to be, isn't he? Obviously, Onana's a bit more box to box, but when you see a midfielder, Lampard, that's your manager, and his goals he scored, Onana, you can tell he's hungry to score. So we've got the right manager. The good thing is with Lampard is, we'll move on to the results in a second, but the good thing about Lampard for me is I think every player likes him, like generally. And that's massive, because you look at, I'm not going to talk about Slippy G long, but I feel like a lot of players didn't like him. And if your manager hasn't got the players on his side, you're in trouble. And I generally do feel like, you look at Iwobi, loves Lampard, and Nana, you've just said, stops behind. And every player does love Lampard and wants to play well for him. Cody says he's a top guy. Tarkowski says Lampard's a top guy. And these are older men as well. So the respect they've got at an older age for Lampard shows how good Lampard is as a man. So we just want Lampard to succeed with his football now. And like I say earlier on, we did see some of Lampard's football. That needs to continue now because that was good football, and that needs to happen this game.
Yeah.
So should we? We're coming to 45 minutes. Don't want to keep you too long. People on the comments and stuff. Should we hit you? We didn't say what team we think. We just basically all said he's going to stick with the same, or maybe change it. Jeff McNeil, maybe change the Patterson thing. We didn't say our team, but we all know what we think on teams.
I think it's probably going to be the same starting lineup.
Yeah,
because
I think that as well.
Generally in football, is you don't change a winning team. So and
give it another go.
I don't think any player deserves to be dropped based on that performance last week.
No.
That was. I had an argument with someone on Twitter about it because, and I wasn't trying to blow smoke or go too far. I said that was the best 90-minute performance I've seen in a few years. And I meant that because it was like we've had games where we've played well in little spells and we've had or a good half, we played well for a good half and then really bad the second half or something like that. But I think this was the first time I've seen this in a while where we started the game well, dominated the first half, got to half time. Yeah, maybe they had a little go at the start of the second half, but then we took back control. We got the second, and it was it was a whole 90-minute performance. We started and finished well. We took our chances. We defended well. We controlled the game, and it's that's the first time I've seen us be dominant from the start to the finish of a game. And even their manager, Vieira, he spoke about it afterwards, and he said they didn't get out the blocks. They played really badly, and it's well, yeah, you could say they played badly, but you could also say we made them play badly. We didn't give them a chance to settle. We did everything really, really well, and I kind of think that's the template for how we need to play as consistently as possible going forward. That was excellent.
I'll get shit for this, but this is a team that I'm looking at, and I shouldn't be looking at them and wanting to play like them, but it's Newcastle. The reason I say Newcastle is because they're showing a lot of bollocks against big teams. I've watched Newcastle against Man City, and they just went for it. And when they defended, they were strong. Newcastle have this is how I want us to be. I'm not saying I want us to be like Newcastle, but I like the style they use. When they defend solid. When they attack, they just go for it. And that's what I want Everton to be. I want us to have two tactics. I want us, when we stay compact, this sit back, I don't mind it. But I want us also to have the tactic. When we turn the ball over, we keep it like I say Newcastle do, and we just go for it. And we just show some bollocks on the attack, honestly. I know that's swearing, but that's what I wanted us to do. And that's what we did last game, because some of those passes we did last game, I don't know if you've seen it. There was a video that I hate Carrick, but he freaking retweeted it at Summit where we passed the ball to one of our players under pressure, and our old crowd shouted, "Turn," because he was under pressure. But that's what I've been asking for us to do. Yeah, that's what I've been asking for us to do, Jeff, because I said, show some bottle. I know that pass is risky because he could lose it, but that risky pass is what gets you
actually open. Shouting for him to hoof the ball up the pitch.
Yeah.
That was the goal. That was the second goal, is our fans were like, get rid of it, shouting, get rid of it. But we don't want to get rid of it.
We showed bottle. That's what I was asking for. We showed confidence and bottle with bravery. Yeah. And that's what I've been asking for. That's how you win games, by showing bravery. If you just keep hoofing it back like we was doing the other games, it's so easy for the other team. But they're showing that bravery. That's what I want to see again. All right, we're going to hit you with scores. I've got to shoot now. We've been on for a while. Don't want to bore you, but I think
just as one quick thing, just a very quick thing. I saw one comment in the thing saying, I think it's from Dublin, but he said, "Do we do a live watch along?" Let us know in the comments if that's something you would want to see. We are trying to obviously get new content, keep things fresh for you, and obviously we love coming along. So if you'd want to see our reaction to something like that, maybe then let us know in the comments. But yeah, as you were,
I'm always on the dodgy streams. I am, where you freaking get it and now we're late. So it'll be no good.
Very true, to be fair.
Can you get me the all the packages where I can watch the game on perfect time? I'll be all right then.
I got a really good link. I got a really good link last time. So
give it me then, because I'll
share it. I'll share it with you. I'm keeping it to myself because when you find a good link and you share it with everyone. Everyone goes on it, and then the link goes. Shit,
Yeah, then the link goes. At the minute, my link,
I'm
kicking
it to myself for the minute.
Mine at the minute, every time there's an attack or it looks like that someone's going to score, it freezes, and then I have to
streams.
Yeah, I have to it freezes. Then I have to try and go back on it. And I'm just seeing whether the goals happen and not actually seeing them. Sometimes I get good ones, but I definitely need a bet. I think I'm going to pay the whack for it. If I'm coming on this channel, I've got to see every part of the game, and I do catch most of it in the end, though. But that's a good point. I would like to do it, Jonathan, on that. I would like to do it.
I feel like we're all very emotional and like we get involved. So just
I think it'd be dangerous. It would be dangerous. We've already had me and Jeff arguing on the channel, so it would be good to see us during the game, especially Ryan. Imagine Ryan. We've seen Ryan's WhatsApp messages while we're playing, and Steve's. And Steve's, it'd be like, no.
Is if we didn't care, then it wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah,
like we get angry and emotional because it means so much to us, and it's like if we didn't have that, if we weren't getting like emotional and stressed and like whatever, then football's not for us, is it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like if you're not passionate, what's the fucking point of it?
I'm more angry this season than last season, and I'll tell you why. Because I do believe in every player this season. I believe in all of my players, and I generally do. I know
my players.
I know they can be good. I know they can be good. I see I know what they can do, and I'm not saying we're amazing with finished product, but I've seen from every single player that we've got now a good game. And I know they're not always going to be at the best, but I want them to push for the best. And if they're lazy, I can't accept it. If they're not even pushing for the best, I can't accept it. But if they give 100%, I can always accept that. But sometimes the thing that gets me is if a player doesn't track back, he's too lazy when he could have. And he can't, like, that's what gets me. Do you know what I mean? Just like not arse.
Every single player needs to leave the pitch tired.
Yeah, that's all I want, 110%.
If they give everything and it doesn't work, then I can accept it. I don't like it, but you know, if we do the best that we can and it's not good enough and we lose, then that's fair enough. But like some of the shit we saw last teams where players were just strolling around, that's unacceptable.
I think I didn't say this point, but we're going to go on scores now. I think it's massive, and I should have said this because it was in my head before the channel. I think it's massive that our wingers do get back and help the left and right back to stop crosses coming in. Because like you said, Jonathan, Mitrovic's goal record is absolutely sensational this season. And it's not by luck. If I heard someone say, if you let him get the jump on you, he'll do you. So I feel like you've got to stop as many crosses as you can, because some crosses that come in the box, even though Tarkowski and Cody are good, you're not going to stop him. So I want to see Gordon and Gray get back. I don't want to see many crosses put in, because if you put them into him, he's either going to score himself or other players are going to come around him, and he's going to be a big danger. So I want to put that to bed. That's how I feel about that. Don't let the crosses come in.
See, that's where Tarkowski comes in. I want Tarkowski on him every single time, because like he's absolutely dominant in the air. So like if you put, So come on then, go on then.
Right,
Jonathan,
score predictions. Jonathan, you go first, then we'll go me, because Jeff just spoke, and then we'll go Jeff at the end. Score prediction. I'm just thinking about mine now.
Yeah, I've been thinking for like the last half an hour. I'm gonna go with
guns.
We're gonna win by 2 goals, and it's either gonna be 3-1 or it's gonna be 2-0.
Ooh, interesting.
3-1 or 2-0. So you pick 2.
Who's gonna score?
So you pick 2, Jonathan. That means you've got to pay twice now. You've bet twice, so you've got to pay twice. That's 2. What are you putting on a tenner? £10 or?
Sure. Why not? I'm a gambling man.
3-1 or 2-0. Fair enough. That's a good. I can see where you're coming from. Mine. I'm going to go for. In my head, I'm not even copying you. It was 3-1. I don't know why I think 3-1's just an easy one to say, where you want to score loads, but you think they're going to score one. Do you know what I mean? Like 3-1. And I do think DCL is going to score, because I feel that he's going to score every game now, because he's going to want to get in that England team. It was said in the press, like Lampard said, if he wants to get in the England team, this is his chance. So DCL is going to be involved in this, I think. 3-1. Jeff? Pop your scores in the comments as well. I'll pop them up now.
It's a difficult one.
10-0. Joking. I know you would say 10-0.
They're a good side and they're at home, so I think they'll score.
Jonathan said 2 goals and 3 goals in his scored.
Like I'm of the view if you win your home games and you draw away from home, then you're doing all right. But I just have a sneaky feeling we're going to win again. So I'm going to go for a 3-2.
Oh, that's a good game, that is, to be fair. If 3-1, 3-2, it makes me a bit more scared, but I'll take the 3-2. You know what I mean? I will take it. I'm just going to drop some of your scores on as well. 2-1, Nicky says.
Is that why you banned?
2-2, one of them.
If you look at all of Fulham's previous results, apart from one game, which was Wolves versus Fulham, which was 0-0, they've conceded at least 2 every single game. So I'm going to stick with 3-1 and not 2-0.
Well, I forgot to say this. I've got the lucky face paint going on again Saturday. I keep thinking it's tomorrow because we do them on Friday sometimes. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the lucky face paint. I know I look like a complete idiot. Trust me, I've seen it, but it's just lucky because I wore the face paint with Jeff on the channel, and we won. And then someone said, "Make sure you wear it next game," and I didn't, and we lost. And then I didn't wear it again, and we lost. And I didn't wear it again, and we lost. And then I said to Jeff, I said, let's try the face paint again last game. And it's the best we've ever played, and we won. So I'm going to try it again until we lose. Maybe we'll never lose this season, hopefully, and we'll be buzzing.
If that happens, you're going to have to get a permanent tattoo of the face paint. And then we'll win the league.
I do like to look normal. That's why I enjoy coming on tonight, because I know for the fact next time I come on the channel, I'm going to have some sort of face paint on that's going to be a wacky. But it's all fun. But
you almost look like you've got your hair pulled back in your ponytail like you used to have now. But only when you sit back, it looks like you've got proper hair.
It's coming back quick.
The last few weeks, it's looked a little bit thin on it.
No, I got some. I went to the farm the other day and got some pig semen. Apparently, if you put pig semen on your hair, it makes it grow really quick. So I popped some of that on. Sorted the pig out quick time. Popped some of that on.
It wasn't self-serve.
Got the pig squealing. No, I'm joking. I've been too serious on this all the way through, so I had to have a little bit of laugh at the end. Do you know what I mean? So we've got our scores. We've read a couple of your scores. Thanks for people coming on. There's been quite a few on us, as always. We've got our regulars. That was quite funny reading that. We've got our regulars that come on, for fuck's sake, Dan. Try not to swear in this, but sometimes you got to. The comments are funny. But we've got our regulars. If you're on now and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We're on like nearly, what is it? Do you know, 1,500, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, we're close to 1,500. So we really want to pick up on the subscribers because we feel that we put out good content.
Free Jeff.
You lot tell us that all the time.
Free Jeff.
Free Jeff.
Dan got me banned. It was Dan's fault.
We can't even say why Jeff got banned, but basically, I'm very shocked that Jeff did nothing. It turns out he generally didn't do that much, but I was expecting it to be a good story.
I was laughing at your bloody...
Let's just say we're not going to go into it, but you're not allowed to use certain emojis that Jeff didn't know that are old emojis. That was the reason, wasn't it, Jeff? But yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Stupid reasons. Twitter's getting a bit stupid, but hey.
Right, have a good one, boys.
See you later.
See you later.
I'm just going to pop on the Everton brand.
Nice one.
And we're back because it won't
you
click
haven't
end.
ended it.